Are you considering starting preschool at home? Maybe you've had a recent life change like a new baby, or maybe you're trying to save money and not send your child to preschool just yet. Today, I'm going to share with you 10 simple things that you can do with toddlers and preschoolers at home to get them ready for school. So stick around. Hi, I'm Rebecca with the Parent Teacher Bridge, where you can find the ideas and resources you need to empower you to be your child's most influential teacher. And today I'm going to share with you 10 simple things that you can do at home to help your toddler or preschooler be ready and successful for school when they enter kindergarten. Now, I have a mixture of preschool experiences with my 3 children. My oldest child did attend preschool part-time before I had any other children. I was working full-time and he needed some place to go during the day. So he has had that private preschool experience, so I can speak a little bit for that. My second child only went to preschool for about half of a year. And that was primarily because even though I was at home with my oldest son and homeschooling him, I thought this would give this child a chance to get out away from the house. It would give me a chance to do schoolwork with my oldest child. But when I realized that it really wasn't helping my oldest child get his work done any quicker, we decided to keep him home and save that amount of money. And then my third child, here she is, just turned 5, and it doesn't look like she's going to be going into preschool anytime soon, although I'm sure she would love it. But I say all that to say I have all these ideas. I've used them with all 3 of my children, and they have blossomed wonderfully in their academics, in their reading, in their writing, in their math. So today I'm going to share those with you. Let's get started. Before we do that, make sure you click like and subscribe so you can be notified each time I upload a video for your child's learning. Number 1 is practice motor skills. Now, you maybe have heard of fine motor skills, as in using your fingers and writing and cutting and tracing. But let's talk first about gross motor skills. Now, when I was looking into this topic, it was because my second child was not really holding his pencil properly. And I was looking into some ideas, and I found that a child's gross motor skills do affect their fine motor skills. So the way that they sit up straight, the way that they use their arm to throw a ball, and all of these larger muscles are going to affect their fine motor skills that they might use in school also. So don't forget, give plenty of time to play outside, to run, to climb, to catch a ball, to throw a ball, to go to the playground and swing on slides and balance. Do all of those things because they are going to directly relate to those fine motor skills. Now, you can also practice those fine motor skills and strengthen those hands and fingers. Just like your baby learned to pick up little cereal pieces like Cheerios on their baby seat, on their tray, there are also activities you can use with your toddler and preschooler to strengthen their fine motor skills. And those could be things like playing with Play-Doh. Now, your child may not be interested at first, right? So you may have to sit with them for a few minutes and pretend, make something that they are interested in. So if it's a child that likes to make play food, show them how to roll a ball and make something that looks like grapes or peas or corn or carrots or whatever it may be. Show them the actual movements that you can do. Give them some scissors where they can cut the Play-Doh. Or if they're into cars, build a car with Play-Doh. It may not be fancy. It doesn't have to be fancy for preschool age. Just get them doing activities. You may even have a tub that's ready to go for easy cleanup. Hi, parents. Is your child struggling to read or even hates to read? Nothing you have tried has worked? Get my free guide, 5 quick tips to immediately help your struggling reader. I'm going to show you the simple tricks that I've used for years to successfully improve children's reading and their confidence in reading. It's easy, it's simple, and it's free. just go to theparentteacherbridge.com/reading help. You can find that link in the description below. Number 2, coloring, cutting, and tracing. So with coloring, I had 2 boys before I had a girl, and I'm just going to tell you that my 2 boys were not nearly as interested in coloring at a younger age as what my little girl has been. That's just the way it happened in our family. So one of the things that I would try to interest my boys in coloring is I would get on my computer and print off some character that they love, whether it be a car, a transformer, a superhero, whatever it may be. And in your case, if you have a little girl, you may want to print out something that she likes also. And I just keep my printer stocked with paper and ink, look up something, print it off, put it in a folder so it's grab and go and ready to go. And some of those times I had to actually sit down with my child and start coloring, so kind of motivated them as they saw I could color something. They got to thinking, oh, maybe I can do it too. As always, keeping new and fresh crayons has always motivated my child as well. My second child struggled with holding a pencil, and someone gave me a wonderful idea of using half-size crayons. You can order those specifically online, or you can just do what I did and break the crayons in half. He wasn't always excited about that, but that helped our issue in about 2 months. As far as cutting, I do understand some apprehension that you may have with scissors. We keep them put up in our house. So far, only one of my children has ever tried to cut his hair. Luckily, it was the boy, and it was right in the front. But I do understand some of your reservations with that. So you may just have to have a rule that you get out the scissors at a certain time, sit at the table where you can see what's going on. We keep our house stocked with paper. If someone gives away paper, I take it. If there's a sale on copy paper or construction paper, I have that also. One small tip for cutting with young children is to give them a thicker kind of paper, thicker than copy paper, because it's not so flimsy when they are cutting. If you would like, you can find cutting practice online, even if it's just a straight line, a wavy line, or zigzag lines, you can print those out, or just do it yourself with a marker. Lots of times I just give my children scissors and paper, and they know they can get in there and experiment. It is messy to let your child be creative, and I do understand that that's not fun to have to clean up later. However, I haven't had to struggle with my children being able to cut things out very neatly and easily because they've just had the practice using scissors. So the last thing is tracing. So you can use sheet protectors, or you can get something called shop tickets. And what I've done with that is I've printed off from these handwriting generators. Just search handwriting generator. You can type in your child's first name, last name, whatever it is you want to do. Print that off on a piece of copy paper and stick it in a sheet protector or a shop ticket, and it gives your child a chance to practice tracing their name. And they get to use a skinny dry erase marker and just erase it and start all over again. I've even used that in some of my handwriting classes that I've held in my home. Number 3, take turns and share. If you're like me, my oldest child was a preschooler and an only child because he did not have a sibling until he was 4.5 years old. So we struggled a little bit on that sharing process. And I would sometimes get notes from the preschool teacher when he was there. I wasn't at home with him during the day to say, okay, we're going to explicitly practice this and go on play dates. But if you have that opportunity, I definitely recommend that. Think ahead and make opportunities to practice sharing, even if it's just between you and your child playing a game. That might be a game where you roll some dice or where you look for matching cards. Get them used to the idea of playing simple games, taking turns, sharing, winning, and losing. That's going to go very far when they interact with other children at school. Number 4 is to sing. I haven't met a child yet, a young child especially, that does not like music of some kind. And singing gives an opportunity for your child to practice those gross motor skills. Not only that, but so many songs for young children can also help teach them very valuable things like the alphabet, the sounds the letters make, the months of the year, the seasons, the days of the week. They can even learn to count with songs, and they can learn to rhyme, which is also a pre-reading skill. So get some songs. You can purchase a CD or the digital music. Get that playing in their bedroom at night. Have something ready to play in the car, because you would be surprised at how much your child can pick up even when they're playing something and listening to the music in the background. Number 5 is manners. And this is something that I wish that I would have done a better job with when my children were younger. And I think it could have saved me a lot of heartache later down the road. These are a few things that I've made a list of. If you can think of something else, or if you have a great resource for teaching manners to your child, please comment below. I would love to look into that and be able to recommend that to other parents. So let's look at this list. Some things you may want to consider are how to address adults that are not their parents. So in our house, we say Mr. or Miss and then the person's first name. And this might be people we go to church with or neighbor people. You figure out your own way of doing that, but we might say Miss Kathy or Mr. Gary, just as a few examples. Also, how to get your attention without rudely interrupting. Maybe you're talking with another grown-up and you want your child to do something like place their hand on your arm, not tugging on your shirt, and waiting or saying, excuse me, when they have to enter a conversation. Asking by saying please, showing gratitude by saying thank you, and also how to apologize. Instead of just a one-word sorry, maybe saying, it really wasn't right for me to do that. I apologize. I'm sorry for doing that to you. Will you please forgive me? So it's kind of like admitting that you did something wrong and you're seeking forgiveness from the other person. And likewise, teaching how to accept an apology. So in our house, we don't like our children to say back to the apologizer by saying, that's okay. Well, because it's not okay that they treated you like that. So instead, they can say, I forgive you. Okay, so what other manners can you think of? Leave a comment below. Number 6, counting and sorting. All right, so what are you counting and sorting? It could be anything. It could be chocolate chips out of a bag. It could be M&Ms. It could be toy blocks you have around the house. It might be counting cars in the parking lot as you walk into the grocery store. Look for ideas in your own child's environment. It could be steps, going up the steps in your house, counting those. But also sorting things in different ways, maybe by how heavy or light they are, what color they are, sorting them by their shape or their size. All of this can be done just with items that are in your house that your child sees every day. I'm sure there are some fancy apps out there that will teach your child to do that. But if you're like me and you want to limit screen time, the apps aren't really necessary. You can do this the old-fashioned way. Just snag the opportunities as they come. Number 7, puzzles. We usually pick up some dollar puzzles at the local dollar store. I know that if the pieces get damaged or lost, it's not a big deal to replace them. And they usually are pretty excited when they see these puzzles. They also get puzzles at Christmas and Easter, and because they are so cheap and they are learning, sometimes they're a just for fun gift. But if you think about puzzles and how there's a process in solving puzzles, how children have to look at specific patterns, looking at patterns is going to pay off, not just in areas of math, but also in areas of reading, as children eventually look at different spellings and spelling patterns and how they make different sounds. So don't overlook that. It's a toy, but it's also a learning toy. Number 8 is a big one, and that is ask questions and talk to your child. They often say, teachers who are in kindergarten and first grade, and they get kids coming to school for the very first time, maybe even kids that did not go to preschool, and they say there's a stark difference between the children who have had people talk with them and how many words they are hearing in their everyday versus children who have not had people speaking to them. So if you're thinking, I may be a little bit busy, make sure that I'm talking to my child. Here are some things you can talk to your child about. Start by asking questions. Let me give you a few examples. You can start off a question by saying, why do you think? You're driving down the road and you see, orange cones on the road, and you might ask your child, why do you think those cones are orange? Or why do you think those cones are there? And you allow your child to tell you their answer, and you show them that you're listening to them, and you say, oh, that's a great idea. Did you also know? And then it gives you a chance that you can teach them something. Other things you can ask, how do you think? How do you think that happened? Where have you seen that before? Would you like to? And this one comes up a lot if I'm reading a story to my children. I might ask them about something that happened to the character in the story. And I might say, would you like to travel to the moon one day? Why? Or why not? And allow your child to say something back and then reply to what they have said. You can do this in the car. You can do this when you're reading a book or cooking your dinner. It doesn't take a lot of extra time outside of your day. Number 9, you knew this one was coming. Read to your child. Okay, so I knew, just from my college education, how important reading to children was. And yet, even as a busy working mom spending my entire day teaching other people's children, I had to consciously think about it and make sure that I did it with my child. It wasn't that I didn't enjoy it. There's just so many other things to do, right? Especially when you've worked all day. You got to pick up your kids. You got to come home. And you got to do all of that. So I'm just saying this, even though I know you know it's important, to remind you to read to your child. It may not be a perfect 20 minutes every single day. You may have to make up that time in other places, and 5 minutes is better than nothing. Just like I said, asking questions. When you're reading to your child, be sure you're asking questions not only about what's happening in the story, what they think will happen in the story, but also about the pictures. Be sure that you are reading not only storybooks. Storybooks are good. They're learning about, good and evil, what you should and shouldn't do, and empathy, but also nonfiction books. Not every child likes the storybooks. Some children like more factual books that have science facts or social studies facts, and that's good to know. We read mostly nonfiction as adults, so it's good to expose that to our children also, as well as rhyming books or poetry, because rhyming is so important with reading. Number 10 is teach your child certain safety information. That involves teaching your child their first and last name, their parents' names, the street they live on, what to do in an emergency, phone numbers, stranger danger, and so on. This needs to be an ongoing conversation with your child. Again, parents, if you have a great resource like a book to read or a program to do, please leave it in the comments below so my viewers can check that out. And I'd like to check it out as well. Can you think of a toddler or preschool tip that you would like to include that I have left out? Leave a comment below. And don't forget to check out my 5 quick tips to immediately help your struggling reader. I'll leave the link in the description below. If you haven't yet, click that subscribe button and the like button so you can be notified each time I upload a video for your child's education. Follow the Parent Teacher Bridge on Facebook and Instagram. And remember, you are your child's most influential teacher.